Welcome or welcome back to Kimbo's Crafts. I'm Kimbo and this is my channel here where I discuss crafts, mostly paper crafts at the moment. I will be posting a video every week, so stay tuned. Every Wednesday there should be a video up going over past craft projects and current craft projects, sort of sharing inspiration and getting an idea of where I've been and where we're all going. So today I want to share one of my earliest scrapbook projects I ever did. So this is going to date me a little bit here, but this is from a trip I took in high school. And this is the first book I made that had one consistent theme. It was made just for this trip. And if you've been following my channel and probably watching in the future, most of my scrapbooks that are individual books were around trips. It's just how I commemorate it. It's the most important souvenir I have is my photos and the ephemera I bring back. So this one I made, and it's very budget friendly. I will point out before getting started that every single photo was printed off with a printer I had. It was color inkjet, I believe. This book is 19 years old, so keep that in mind when looking at the pictures. They are printed on regular copy paper, what I had available for me doing my homework on anyway. So I printed my photos with that regular paper, cut it with scissors because that's what I had. Very, I was working with an allowance, very budget, what I had on hand. And so when I did buy things, it was like these stickers that I put on the side. So stickers were pretty much what I bought. And then of course the ink cartridges, which were not as expensive as they are now, I don't think. So one thing working that way that's really cool is that when you just print it on regular printer paper, you can just take the picture, put it on Microsoft Word, make it however big you want. So that's how I did this one. Let's see, I am actually right here, looking really excited. This picture being on the outside of my book has taken quite a bit of a beating, but it's still, I've had to re-glue it before, but it's still pretty glued down, and there is some water damage to it, but I'm pretty proud of how it's held up, especially when you consider the fact that, again, it is very nearly 20 years old. And this is a regular photo album book that I believe I got at Joann's, just a craft paper sort of book, and I think the next book I'm going to do, this is going to basically inspire because it does have that plain black photo paper on the back. So let's see. I do believe this little paper doll that I have here was from something I had gotten for 4th of July that I'd had on hand, if I remember correctly. So it went in here. And all of my titles, because again, I didn't have too much money, were just printed off of the computer. So I used fonts that were available, typed up what I wanted it to say, and then threw it on there. And then, of course, you just have your gel pens to write in your notes. Very few stickers. Now, I used to have all of my room cards in here. There used to be a room card here. I wish I had pulled it out a little bit and just glued it down instead of leaving it free, because over the years it fell out, which of course it was going to anyway. But I do have my Metro ticket that we took for the Metro, and so I do have that ephemera in here. This is also where I started taking pamphlets and cutting them up so that I could use them in my book. So this is from the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum pamphlet. That's why it's shinier than the others. It's actually printed on a real flyer. And then of course these are just pictures I put on and printed. Doing that, you can get all different sizes, and I really took advantage of that. So I think that's pretty cool. And this is actually a fabric flag badge. Again, it's been 20 years. I'm not sure where exactly it came from, but I think I got it there in the Smithsonian Mall. And this is also from the flyer. But I did recently purchase another color printer so I can do something similar to like this for my next book, because of the fact that I get to be able to change the sizes of things, and I really like how I was able to get everything in here. Here is the mall that we went to. This is the pamphlet that I used, and so here's the first example of me cutting out a map and using it, but I didn't cover it up, which I do now, but it's just independently its own page. That's a sticker, pretty simplified one. So here's some more that I printed out here. We went to the Holocaust Museum, as you can see here. I bought I bought stickers for this one. Funny enough, I know that quite a few of my alphabet stickers I still have because I hold on to them and you don't end up using all of them. So I have alphabet stickers from all different stages and eras, I guess, of my scrapbooking, and I've got to say they hold up pretty well for being able to hold on to it. So here, when you go to the Holocaust Museum, it's been 20 years, so I don't know if they still do this. They gave us these books that kind of gave you a person to follow their story throughout. So this was the one I received before going down the elevator, so I glued it in because that's very much important for the experience. Okay, so then we went to the Capitol Hill. These are so they have you wear this sticker and you have to wear it. Well, again, this was 20 years ago. Who knows what they do now? But at the time, we had to wear this sticker for the whole tour. And if it peeled off, you would possibly get removed. So I was very conscientious of keeping my sticker on me. And then I was able to put it back into my very sturdy ticket here. And it has stuck back. I almost got it perfectly online. It has stuck good enough to stay. And yeah, these are my original tickets from that. I glued in here. Here's one of our room keys that I glued right in because I guess I didn't have the sleeve on this. And this is the theater tickets. We went and saw a show at the... Oh, funny, I misspelled Kennedy. Oops. Well, I was in high school. What can I say? So here we've got, again, all photos that I printed with my picture, with my not even photo printer, just with my inkjet printer on paper. Keep in mind, again, they're 20 years old. They're pretty vibrant still. And the ink from my gel pens that I had are also still in great shape. Some stickers that I purchased for the use. So here is a pamphlet we got. So this was a Civil War trip. We went to the different battlefields along the East Coast on this road trip. Here, I picked up every flyer I could get a hold of, knowing that I was going to need to use them to kind of zazz up my book here. So here's the one for this spot that we stopped. Here's again my room ticket for Fredericksburg that I no longer have. And then more from the pamphlet here. I do think that I purchased just the right amount of stickers. And then whatever pages, I did have a couple of scrapbook pages on hand to use, and so I did use portions of them. Wow, look. This one still has my ticket in there. And I glued it in so that it would unfold. I'll spare possibly tearing that, but this one's in great shape, probably because it's so snug. Here I am layering a portion that I cut out of the flyer pamphlet that we have on top of this picture. Give it kind of a framing device there. I really liked this. I think this came from some other a magazine. I think I got this out of a magazine, to be honest. And then this is from a pamphlet. This is also from a pamphlet. So I traced them out a lot more to use them more as you would with a sticker, so they wouldn't be just huge sheets. Just enough stickers here. Here's a tag I got so I could write down a little tag there, some stickers. I'm pretty sure a good portion of these stickers that seem really random are from things I had held on to from previous pages that I'd done in my kind of childhood scrapbook. Because again, I hold on to all these things, alphabet stickers, any stickers that are still on a portion of the, pack. I keep them. You never know when they come in handy. These are more from pamphlets, cut to fit the page. Everything I glued in here, I'm pretty sure I used a glue stick. And it is kind of giving it a bit of a wave. That's from a pamphlet. But just to keep in mind, this is all glue stick and those sorts of things. Here's another room key. Then here, this is vellum paper that I had that I was printing on. It looks like maybe you can't really see, but it looks like it's peeling off a little bit. I need to fix that. Also, the glue discolored it a little bit. So when you're working on these kinds of projects, I was young and I didn't really think about what I might what I might use for long term. But when you're working on this project, it's important to think of archival quality glue options, archival quality pens. And so these, just, if you haven't noticed by now, it's all gold and silver gel pens. Honestly, the Pilot G2 gel pens are perfect for this. They've held up well. They've not faded or discolored or anything like that. So if you're writing on black paper like this for a scrapbook, those are good options. Glue, glue stick, not a very good option. Here is those pages I said that I tore and kind of used differently. I did approach this because this was a actual project. Before this book, everything that I did scrapbook wise would be like a page for my mom, a page about my dad, a page about my brother, a page about somebody's graduation. It was one page that didn't have a theme going on, and they were very sporadic. I didn't work on them all at once. Sometimes I didn't work on them at all work on my scrapbook at all for maybe a whole year. I mean, I was very young. So this book gave me a great opportunity to kind of sit down, use all the skills I had at the time, and maybe explore some other ones. So this whole weaving paper down, that was new for me, and I thought it was very cool. I still think it's very cool. These pages I got were from a paper pack. You can buy just ephemera paper packs. So I just glue those down. I do suggest always having ephemera paper packs because just having them on hand, you can always throw them into a spread like that. And then here is the notes I took on the trip. Now this was actually part of the assignment we were given as we were going on this trip, because it was supposed to be, well, it is an educational trip, and it was supposed to be replacing some educational credits. And so we were required to take notes to turn in as an assignment at the end. And so these are my actual notes. Because I did this notebook on my trip, I think this really influenced me taking notes on all of my next trips, because I still do that to this day. Maybe not this many, certainly not this much actually, but I do like that I did it, and I glued I did one-sided pages, which was great, so that I could glue them in like this. And then I reserved the back of my book to be able to glue them in, so I can always go ahead and look back at these notes that I took. And then to commemorate it, I was given these stamps that I glued in here in the back, and they're still accessible because I put them. This is a protective, so you get those, how do I put this? They're meant for binders. They have hole punches on the side, and they're top-loading sleeves, and you can use them to protect your documents. They go in just generic binders. That's what this is, and what I did was I glued it shut here. Okay, so I cut the sides down to fit the page. You see here, it still has the kind of melted together perforation that closed the pocket. And then this is where it's folded. But the part where it actually has the hole punches and goes into the binder, I cut off. And okay, this is still open. So you can still access the pocket. So in one of my previous videos, I showed that I've used all sorts of things to sort of create a pocket to be able to hold things. So this is an instance of that, where I just took something that already functions as a pocket. I cut it down so it fit, and then I glued it in and glued this size closed so it wouldn't fall out too easily, but it's still accessible. And if I'd had more items, I could have put them in there. So yeah, that is my first travel scrapbook ever. Again, I said it's 19 years old. It's coming up on its anniversary here next year. I think it's in fantastic shape, considering these are not archival quality photos on photo paper. They are printed off of a printer. I had no concept at the time that I wanted it to last this long, or that it's quite possibly going to last, well, it will last much longer. I just have to repair, maybe glue in some things a little bit better. And like I said, you need to keep in mind things like glue products, what they do to photos or paper, how they age, and pen products. The pens that I used on this, I didn't think of any of those things when I did this. The pens turned out to work really well. The glue, not so well. It peels, and in some cases it discolors, but not as bad as it could be, I would say. And maybe it would be worse on photo paper. But something I use now is those photo archival quality tape runners, those sorts of things. I spend my money now a little bit more wisely on on archival quality tapes and pens, and I think about those things when I scrapbook, and this is a great example of how those things can affect the longevity of your book. I really like that it's actually getting more rugged as it goes, and yeah, it's held up really well. I'm very proud of it. I'm going to do something similar to this for a project coming up. Probably once I finish my evolution project, if you stay tuned, I will be starting a project for my sister's Italian trip. It's going to be a small photo album like this style with the black pages. And well, I'll be using the skills I have now, which are a little bit more than I had then, and also looking back on this one for some inspiration because I really like how I got those in without layering them too much. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and stay tuned. Next week, I'll be continuing the evolution project.